Hello there everyone, and welcome back to the next Muunilinst mock update video. And in this episode, I will be continuing my work from the previous episode, which will be working on the entrance area to the city itself. So, very exciting episode. I get a lot of work done on the entrance. So without any further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so here's the plan for this episode. As you can see, I've already laid the groundwork for part of this episode. Essentially what I want to do is continue on from the previous episode. You can see I've placed the bottom of where I want all the rest of the pillars to go. So in the screenshot that I showed last week for the last video, there was a bunch of pillars on the entrance, so I wanted to add in a couple more. So I've added in 2 more on each side, and I'm going to kind of do a similar thing how I did in the middle over on these 2 sides. That's going to kind of be the thing for this episode. I also got a lot of good suggestions from people yet again. You guys are just like, it's so helpful and reassuring, and just to know that like if I'm not sure about something, I can just look in the comments and you guys have lots of great suggestions. So that's really good. I'll put some screenshots of people's comments on screen where some people recommended to possibly change some of this light gray to more of a dark gray because this wasn't entirely looking the best. So I'm going to try dark gray. I'm still not too sure. I don't mind the light gray, but I can see where some of these comments are coming from. So I'm going to try the dark gray and fill in some dark gray on this spot, and maybe that'll make some of the transition look a little better and not so stark. So that's kind of the plan for this episode, is to continue this entrance and hopefully get that looking pretty good. Alright, so as you guys can see, I went in and changed some of the light gray tiles to dark gray tiles. I'm not quite done with this part yet. I have a few more ideas to make this a little bit better, but I'm definitely agreeing with everybody who commented about the dark gray tiles instead of light gray tiles. I think it does look a lot better, especially when you transition into here. So great idea, guys. I actually am really happy that I was able to switch this. So huge shout out to all you guys who commented that idea. That was quite awesome. So I think this looks a lot better. I still have a few more ideas to touch up on it to make it a little better, including maybe adding some studs and stuff like that in there so I can actually place figures and make a little more of a texture instead of so flat. And what I also did was over here start on the other kind of pillars here. So you can see I've got the 2 pillars lined up diagonally right here. You can see one's sand green base and one's dark gray. Couldn't decide which one I liked. I haven't decided yet, so that's why there's 2 different ones. The tiles are not finished yet on the ground. Not really sure what I'm going to do with those yet. We'll see. Probably going to do a similar design to what I did in the middle by adding in maybe some studs to make it a little more textured. And then as you can see on the actual pillars themselves, I got another comment. I'll put the comment up on screen right now. But essentially saying that the pillars maybe should use 2x4 tiles instead of 1x6 and 1x8s because the 1x6 and 1x8s kind of offset a little bit sometimes. And the comment was essentially saying to switch it up to maybe 2x4s to see if that lines up better, and I think it does. So I went ahead and did that to these 2. I'm probably going to do it to the middle 2. So again, huge shout out to the comment. I believe is from Master Duke, I believe. So thank you for that comment. That was awesome. Again, you guys are leaving so many awesome suggestions that I'm able to incorporate into the mock and make it that much better. So we've got our 2 pillars diagonally here. I'm going to go back in and change up probably the ground design right there, but here's kind of what we're looking at for our 2 kind of sections of the entrance that are done. Now I'm just going to move on to the 3rd, which will be very similar to this one over here, most likely. So that's what I'm going to do next. Looking pretty good so far. Again, this is probably going to definitely look different by the end of the episode, and that's kind of the fun of these update videos. So this is what I got so far, and I'm going to move ahead and kind of touch up a few things here and there with the stuff I have done, and then I'm going to start on the 3rd square over in the back. Alright guys, so as you can see here, I updated this quite a lot. I went in and changed up all the tiles and added in a bunch of studs every once in a while. Lots of 1x1s, 1x2s, tiles, plates, all sorts of stuff here because I was realizing just how flat this mock was kind of getting and smooth. It was just too smooth for my liking. I needed to add some texture to the build, so I decided to try and do this kind of technique here where I just kind of make the road more textured so it just looks a little better with the studs, and I actually can place figures on it now, which is a lot better than having to just balance them on the tiles. But this is kind of what we're looking at here. I also got rid of the whole kind of pattern on the road where it was very smooth and symmetrical. I just wanted to get rid of that. I didn't like it very much, so kind of went back to this kind of version where it's like a more rough and uneven design here, as you can see with the light gray kind of cutting into the areas of the dark gray. and then the dark gray just kind of primarily going through the center here and kind of cutting in and out throughout all the different areas. So this is kind of what I got going on so far. I think I like this better just because I didn't really like how flat the MOC was getting and how smooth it was. This needs to be more of a battle. You know what I mean? More battle hardened, more battlescape, more like kind of rough texture to it. So that's kind of what I was going for here with this design. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that with the other side because I still need to go ahead and work on this side over here. So I think I'm going to go with the textured design. And then if you guys don't like it, obviously you guys can let me know and I can change it up. But I also need to do that middle. I need to like do that with texture too if I'm going to kind of carry this design over. I'm just realizing how many 1x1 studs this is taking up. Like I thought I was going to have enough to do like a lot of the city. I'm going to have to order a lot more if I stick with this design, but that's okay. So I think right now I'm going to continue with this design, and the next thing I'm going to work on is that corner over there, that other side, and then after that I might try to redo this middle part and add in the texture to the ground. But yeah, just let me know if you guys think it looks better or not. I'm leaning towards it more because it just gives more texture, and I think it just looks a lot better than it just being completely smooth. So that was the quick update. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the other corner and start to work on that. Here's kind of a down low angle of what the road texture looks like here. So from this angle you can kind of see what I'm going for. Very similar to a lot of terrain work that I've done in the past where you get these eye level shots where the kind of ground or the floor really pop due to the individual studs and the texture from the studs itself. And again, wide shots also do a very similar thing. So this is just kind of like an eye level shot of what the textured ground actually looks like. And I think down here from this angle is kind of where a lot of the cool details really shine from the textured design. Alright guys, so as you can see I have now completed all the pillars. So I've got those two pillars and the two down here and the walkway or the entrance. So this is what we're kind of looking like now. I'm definitely liking it. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the pathway as the next thing to work on. Alright, so here's a little update. I'm kind of in the middle of building this path right here, and I just want to show you guys kind of how I'm going about doing this. Essentially, you can see I'm trying to make it kind of diagonal, so I kind of want to make like the light gray cut in and out of the dark gray to kind of make it kind of this uneven pattern, but still make it look almost like kind of like almost like a river. You know how it's kind of going in and out in between all these different cracks. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, and as you can see I've kind of got most of the light gray already figured out. Kind of doing an uneven in and out type pattern, and now I'm just going to go ahead and finish up the dark gray in the middle. But this is just taking a very long time because so many small pieces and placing them individually and trying to find all the parts and then taking some stuff apart and redoing it. Like it's taking a very long time. So there's not going to be as much progress in this episode as there normally would be just because placing all these 1x1s take so long. So I'm going to get back to work and I'll update you guys once I finish this section right here. Alright guys, so I have now completed the rest of the plates here to fill in the dark gray and the light gray. Again, using lots of studs and 1x1 studs, 1x2 studs, lots of different tile lengths as well to kind of mix it up a little bit. But here's what I kind of got going on this side. Nothing too special, but again, now this gives me places that I can actually place my minifigures on studs, and then I also think this helps with just texture. I thought the MOC was looking way too flat just because I went with snot for this end down here, and then I was looking at all this other stuff and I was like, you know what, this is way too flat, so I need to add some texture to it in this front area, because obviously once we get to the buildings it's going to be lots of tall and buildings and destroyed stuff, so texture you'll kind of just naturally see that, but up front here there really wasn't much of it, so I wanted to add a lot of texture in. So that's what I did with this one right over here. And then of course we've still got this guy that I did earlier in the episode, which I really do like. I think it looks a little better than the one I just did actually, but I really like this one. This middle one right here, I still need to go in and change it so it fits with the other two. I didn't get time to do that this episode and I'm running low on pieces, so that might have to take a break for a while, but don't worry, I'm going to change this middle part to do it a very pretty much the same design as this one over here and the other one. So you will see a textured ground design for this middle one, but that's just gonna have to wait for a different episode. But for now, I was able to get this part done over here. I might go back in and change, a little more and kind of modify it a little bit more because it's not. I don't think it looks as good as the other one. on the right side, so I might change this one to make it fit more with the yellow on the other side. That might be something I do later on, but for now, this is what we are looking at. And here's everything that I got done in this episode here. You can see the entrance is looking really good here with the pillars. It's just making it seem a lot more grand, because, Muunilinst has lots of tall structures, so I think this is just starting to make the MOC look more and more like Muunilinst, because obviously with the battlefield, it was just kind of there, and it was kind of looking like Muunilinst, but now with these pillars, now we're getting into the city, looking a lot more like Muunilinst, which I'm really, really happy about. You can see kind of now how those studs really give it a good texture and make it pop really well, so I think that was a good decision, but of course I'm eager to hear what you guys have to say about it. But from this wide shot, I think the studs add a lot more texture to this entrance, so it's not so flat and everything like that. Again, like I mentioned in the previous clip, that middle part will also change so it fits with these other ones, but that'll just have to be a different episode. Another thing that I wanted to mention was once we get to the rest of the city, a lot of the city is going to be kind of destroyed and battle damaged from like Republic artillery and stuff like that. So something I want to do later on is eventually probably make this entrance more battle damaged. So maybe a pillar will be like cracked in half and we'll have like 1 by 1 sticking out of it or something like that. So later on, once we get closer to adding more buildings, I'm going to probably make this more destroyed. Right now, I just want to keep it pristine and clean just because I think it looks really cool. It's fun to look at with everything still intact fully. So once we get on to kind of more of the actual city area with the destroyed buildings, I'll probably come back here and maybe take out one of these pillars and have it kind of collapse or something like that to make it fit with the rest of the Muunilinst city vibe. But here's what we got for this episode. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it really took a long time just to fill out these two plates on opposite sides. So it just took a long time. Doesn't probably look like much, but I am happy that I finally got this done because now the front half of the MOC is actually looking really cool. Here's what the whole MOC is looking like so far. The front half of the MOC right here, the battlefield and the entrance. I think it's looking really epic. The scale is starting to come in now. You can see the minifigures are looking good scale-wise and compared to some of the destroyed structures, the trenches, and the debris, as well as the entrance itself. So I think it's starting to look really awesome. It's definitely getting me more and more motivated to build, because once you actually see stuff placed on the MOC, you start to envision what it's going to look like even more, and it just gets everything more, it makes everything more exciting when building. So this is awesome. I'm having a lot of fun with this series, and I think you guys are enjoying the videos, so that's really, the support on the videos have been great, and it's awesome to read all of your guys' awesome comments, so I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys are enjoying the series. And in just these couple episodes here, gotten quite a lot of work done, so I'm very happy the MOC is moving along fairly well. But this is also the easy part of the MOC, because next we need to move on to the city area very soon, and that's where a lot of this MOC is going to be built. And it looks like there's not much there, but trust me, seeing it like in person, there's a lot of ground to cover, especially when you're talking about modular buildings that just go up and they might not cover a whole lot of ground. So it's going to be a lot of work for that back part, and I'm very excited to get started on that soon. But here's what we've got done so far in these first couple episodes here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun so far, and I'm excited to continue. But here's what the battlefield is looking like with the entrance to the city, and I think it's looking pretty epic. So with that, let's move on to the outro. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you did enjoy. As you can see, I also tried a little bit of a different outro setup here. Normally I do like a close-up shot of some figures. I decided, since this episode focused on such a big area like the entrance, I thought it'd be cool to do like a wide shot with some figures set up and everything like that, just to kind of show you what the entrance looks like with some figures spread out over it. So I thought that would be cool. But leave your feedback in the comment section below on this whole entrance area. Kind of what do you think about the texture, about the pillars, about kind of how it works with the battlefield, all sorts of different stuff like that. Definitely leave your opinions and ideas and feedback in the comment section below, and I'll definitely be looking through those and seeing if I can implement any of them into the next episode. Next stuff we're going to work on here will be modifying this entrance depending on what feedback you guys give me, and then after that we're probably almost ready to move on to the city itself, which is going to be very, very challenging, but also really, really fun. I'm really excited and motivated to start working on the actual city area. So it's going to be really, really fun. In the meantime, I've got a few other videos on my channel. Project Nightfall should be returning fairly soon. I have a lot of stop motion to do with the latest landing pad. There's multiple different shots I have to do, so it's just going to it's taking a while. It's just a lot of stuff I got to do before I take it down and move on to phase 3. So stay tuned for that. I know it's been a while, but I am going to work on that and try to get those out very soon. So hope you guys did enjoy the episode, and as always, leave your feedback in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.